Hey guys, this is Fatboy's Crypto here, and in today's video, going to be going through an article that I recently wrote about Crow Finance. I gave my review on it. Um, yeah, this is a farm that I most recently got into. You can check out the article here at fatboyspassiveincome.com. The title of it is Crow Finance Review, Undervalued Passive Income Opportunity on the Cronos Blockchain. Like I said, it's a farm I just recently got into. In this video, I'm going to go through a bit of details as to what Crow Finance actually is, why I'm short-term bullish on this particular protocol, and what is kind of my strategy farming on Crow Finance over the coming days and weeks. So let's get started, guys. So if you're in the game of retiring early on passive income, and you also have not been locked up in the house or something, you know that right now one of the hottest yield farming opportunities at the moment is on Meerkat Finance, which is kind of like the centerpiece DEX, the centerpiece DeFi protocol on the Cronos blockchain. Um, and yeah, Meerkat Finance has, along with dark crypto, has arguably been really just dominating the attention of Cronos blockchain users, right? And the MMF team has definitely done a killer job in building out their protocol with, constant new features that have kept the project in the spotlight and has earned a lot of loyal yield farmers, right? I mean, the rates are great. The token price has done really well. And the product is really good, right? And consequently, I think if we look at the chart here, yeah, I mean, since the beginning of the year, basically, the MMF token has gone from 25 cents all the way up to an all-time high of $1.74, right? Which is unreal, right? It's been great, and everybody's been having an awesome time farming this token, right? You can definitely read my article on Meerkat Finance on my website as well, fatboyspassiveincome.com. I'll show it to you here quickly. This is the article I wrote a few weeks ago on it. And I still think it's a good time to get in and start farming on Meerkat Finance, right? But as with everything crypto, what goes up must come down. And really the last few weeks, right, since April 7th, the MMF chart has definitely not been looking great, right? Right now we're looking at the 4-hour chart here. And obviously there was a huge dump in the MMF price, though there has been a rebound since. This could be part of their, protocol owned liquidity coming into play here, right? But yeah, the price action has recovered, and that's again one of the main reasons we're still fundamentally bullish, right? But for a while it wasn't looking good, right? Lowers highs and lower lows. I can even draw it out on the chart for you here. We have the lower high, or sorry, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, right? Making resistance, support, and so forth. Oh, sorry, making previous support resistance, etc., right? The chart wasn't looking good, and, at least temporarily, the euphoria for MMF has kind of subsided, right? And I think when you see charts or a project that you're farming kind of take a big hit like this, it makes you think overall about the health of your portfolio, right? And are you doing the right things with your portfolio? Are you diversifying enough? And that's kind of the same questions I was also asking myself, right? Um, I mean, after all, yes, I believe in making sure that you're most exposed to your biggest bets. So MMF is certainly one of my larger bets in my passive income portfolio, but I think you can always find hidden gems in crypto and the passive income space, especially on Cronos at the moment, right? Like Cronos is just giving away free money essentially. So this is where I found Crow Finance, and I think that Crow Finance certainly presents an interesting short-term passive income opportunity to cash in on some profits. So what is Crow Finance? Well, as of right now, it's just another DEX, another decentralized exchange and yield farming platform, right, on the Cronos blockchain. And within a few minutes, you can tell that it's a very basic product and not exactly innovative, right? I mean, you look at this thing, nothing special, right? I mean, it just looks like countless of other similar projects where you have a DEX and you also have some um, liquidity pools that you can farm on, and that's pretty much it, right? Um, and from a total value lock standpoint, Crow Finance also really fails to impress. As of yesterday, though, let's see where it is. Yeah, today it's gone up a bit. As of yesterday, April 19th, the TVL for Crow was only 1.169 million USD, which is just so small. I mean, when you compare it to something like MMF or Meerkat Finance, right, which has a TVL right now of about like 1.5 billion USD. I mean, so you're just talking about huge differences in size, right? And yeah, obviously the adoption of finance by Cronos users isn't really there, like in comparison to MMF, right? I mean, there's only very limited options, right? You have a couple of staking pools here, single staking pools, and you have a couple of dual pair liquidity pools, or sorry, three of them. But that's it, right? There's not a lot that you can really choose from. So why on earth would anybody farm this over Meerkat, right? Furthermore, if we really start looking at the native token, right, which is just another farm token Crow, um, since the end of December, beginning of January, I mean, the token has just been dumped, right? Totally dumped, 97% loss of value. I can even draw that out for you guys right here, right? I mean, just a massive dump in value. Yeah, actually more like, 95 to 99% drop in value. And obviously the reason that happened is because the Crow team failed to build any sort of real utility or use for the token. So people were just farming this token as when the protocol came out and just dumping it on new farmers' faces, right? So you got that classic situation where if you got in early, you may have won, but the later that you got in, you probably got wrecked. Okay. And this, of course, is just a very bearish sign on the overall health of the protocol. Um, Yeah, but I got to say, despite all of these larger fundamental bearish signals, I do think that Crow Finance may now represent an undervalued passive income opportunity. And it's for these particular reasons, right? I think you could probably break down my short-term bullish thesis into the following points for Crow Finance, okay? So the first thing is that Crow Finance, the Crow Finance token has found relative price stability. So what this means is that if we provide liquidity into one of the Crow Finance pools, um, our principal investments, right, our investment principles are more protected to large valuation decreases and impermanent loss. Right, so although this chart looks terrible when you're looking at it from a long-term standpoint, most recently, since about the beginning of April, we have found some sort of price stability. And in fact, the Crow price, the Crow token price has rebounded a little bit, right? The reality is that right now, you could call this sideways, right? I mean, the values just dropped so much and there's not a lot of volume. So um, the token price is just kind of going sideways. And sideways markets are actually really, really great in terms of yield farming because even if you're not earning the additional benefit of your principal going up in value, right? You're still, at least your principal is not necessarily losing much money. And at the same time, you're killing it on those high interest rate profits, right? That you earn as you're farming on these pools. So that's one reason I think that this could be an interesting time to get in on Crow Finance. The second thing is that the APR rates on Crow Finance are as attractive as MMF at 300 plus percent. Fucking fantastic, right? With high risk, we need to be making sure we're getting high reward, just like with MMF, and Crow Finance is very similar. If we look at the three options here. I'm personally farming right now the USDC Crow pool, which is earning, anywhere between 300 to 320% APR, which is great, right? I mean, that's very, very attractive and um, definitely makes it worth the risk, in my opinion, given where we are. The third point for my short-term bullish thesis, and sorry, I'm about to take a sip of my beer. The third point why I'm short-term bullish on Crow Finance is because as of now, it is actually still a top 5 decentralized application on the Cronos blockchain based on last 7-day volume. All right, so let me pull out this chart right here. So what you can see in this actual graphic here, which I got off Twitter, is that Crow Finance is the fourth largest DApp on Cronos by volume in the last 7 days. Of course, MMF is number one. But I think that this could present a really interesting time to get into Crow Finance simply because as people are obviously taking profits on the large players like MMF, right? I think farmers are going to want to find other opportunities to put their newly found profits into, right? And they're going to probably look at, volume charts like this and then see that, oh yeah, for example, Crow Finance does have attractive APRs and could provide a good opportunity to move some funds into, right? So we always see this in crypto as um, early adopters, et cetera, or investors start taking profits, that newfound money is going to have to shift somewhere else to start making more and more profits, right? You get that compounding effect. And so I think that could happen potentially with Crow Finance. I'm not saying that this is 100% guarantee, but it's a part of my bullish thesis. Okay. And last but not least, the last point of my bullish thesis is that Crow Finance does in fact have a lot of features coming out as per their roadmap, which could lead to a strong marketing narrative, right? So if we take a look at their roadmap here on their white paper, we can see that in this quarter alone, there are supposed to be a lot of pretty bullish, potentially bullish features launching, such as an NFT marketplace, auto compounding vaults, token IDOs, etc., launchpad, blah, 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 blah. Replicating a lot of what MMF is doing. Um, do I think that the Crow Finance roadmap is innovative or game-changing? No, definitely not. Do I think that the Crow Finance team has much of a history executing a roadmap? 100% no. I mean, they've executed this so far, and they basically created a protocol that had a farm token that just dumped pretty much to zero. So you could say, in fact, that the team has not shown much history whatsoever of successfully executing anything in crypto. But hey, there you go. That can always change. Um, and do I think that the Crow Finance roadmap just looks like a copy and paste of countless other DeFi protocols? Yes, 100%. But with that being said, as we all know in crypto, right, and especially when it comes to price or token speculation, narrative is king. And if the Crow Finance team, can even successfully just launch 50% of the features outlined here in this Q1 roadmap, then that could really put Crow Finance into the spotlight of Cronos blockchain users and could lead to more um, liquidity coming to the protocol and potentially the price of the Crow token going up. Okay, so those are the 4 points of my short-term bullish thesis. And I want to highlight here that I am indeed still only short-term bullish. Okay. Um, These short-term bullish points cannot change the fact that from a much larger fundamental standpoint, as I went through before, Crow Finance, as of right now, is not a great product necessarily, and there's no reason to be bullish on this as it currently stands from a longer-term standpoint. Okay. Of course, as you're farming on this protocol over the coming days and weeks, we really need to make sure that the bullish thesis really holds true. Okay. On top of that, if you look at CrowFi's road documents, they still haven't even successfully completed any audits yet. So there's certainly a lot of risk involved with that, right? A product that has not had any audits released whatsoever, you have to definitely take that into consideration that there's a potential security risk here. Okay. Um, so we have to really understand that even compared to MMF, Crow Finance is probably very, very, very high risk. And there's just no way for at least me personally, this is my personal standpoint, that if a project has not even released one successful audit or one positive audit, how can you be bullish even more than like short term? And short term here meaning days or like 1-2 weeks max. Okay. So we need to make sure that if we're farming or if you choose to farm on Crow Finance, you do have to exercise extreme, extreme caution. So to conclude, what is my strategy for actually earning passive income on Crow Finance, given my short-term bullish thesis, but my kind of more fundamental bearish outlook? Okay. Well, in my opinion, the strategy is pretty straightforward given this, right? Over the coming days, I am personally planning to circulate profits from my MAD Meerkat position to Crow Finance. Not all of it, but just some of it. okay? While the price of Crow hovers between 0.001 and 0.002. Actually, it's a little bit higher right now, but this kind of general area, right? And while I'm doing this, I will be cashing out profits on Crow Finance regularly, every 2 to 3 days, very similar to what I'm doing on Meerkat. And the only reason I'm not doing it daily is because of the gas fees on Cronos, okay? On a weekly basis, and on top of that, I will be reevaluating my entire short-term bullish thesis, right? Checking, is there any sign that the roadmap is really coming to fruition? How is the token price doing? How is the APRs of the pools doing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? If the price of the Crow token does drop back to closer to the 0.001 valuation, I may consider adding a small portion of additional funds to the position, so funds which are not part of my Meerkat profits, but I'm still not 100% sure if I'm going to do this. It really depends on opportunity cost more than anything. Okay. If the price of Crow does drop below 0.01%, which at the moment it has not, the lowest it's been so far is 0.0013, right? But if it drops below 0.001 USD with a sharp movement of higher volume, right, I would definitely then consider exiting completely. At that point in time, obviously, my principal will have been affected somewhat, but hopefully the profits would have more than made up for that, right? And at the same time, if we do see like a 10x move to the upside in terms of the Crow token, just given the short-term bullishness potentially that could come to the project, I would definitely also consider looking to cash out profits. The exact price point where I would choose to cash out profits and exit the position, I haven't decided really yet. Personally, because I don't really see that happening. I mean, at the moment right now, I just think with Crow, just given where the token is now and how little, spotlight there is on the project, I just think that the token price is probably going to go sideways for some time. So just continue to farm it as it goes sideways. Okay, guys? So last but not least, if you do choose to move funds onto Crow Finance, please remember to do your own research prior to doing so. Do not take what I'm saying here as gospel, because this is certainly a high risk investment. And apart from that, happy farming, guys. Fatboy's Crypto out. If you have any questions, please leave a comment and I'll happily answer, or send me a message on Twitter. My Twitter is @FatboysCrypto. Definitely hit me up there. I'm much more involved in the NFT scene on my Twitter, but I'm primarily a yield farmer. So hit me up there, ask me any questions. I'm happy to help you out. All right, guys. See you in the next video. Take care.